It is time once again for Flipping Vintage. Was that exciting enough for you? I have 6 more items today to share. But before I get into my items, I want to throw a plug out for my buddy. This is Cross-Eye Comics. This is actually their latest release, just this weekend. So you can just Google them online, Cross-Eye Comics. My good friend Mike Childress, he's the writer, producer, artist. Even his daughter does some of the art. But fantastic comic series. It is rated G, so there's no potty language, as we call it. There's no nudity. There's nothing like that. There's a lot of blood and violence, which is right up my alley. But hey, check them out. Cross-Eye Comics. They've got a couple of series out. And I'm actually going to be doing some writing, a couple of stories with them. We're going to collaborate here in the near future. But go online, check them out. Look at it, Cross-Eye Comics. They sell t-shirts, trading cards, and a whole bunch of other things. So that's my plug for my buddies right there. But let's get into my 6 vintage items for the day. The first one up, check this out. 1970s polyester disco shirt. Long sleeve, square. I love these square buttons. Made in USA, of course. And check out the tag. Everybody likes to see these tags. It's kind of hard to see the tag, but the shirt itself is in perfect condition. It's pretty cool. It's Capri of California. And let's see. David Langman? I guess David Langman would be the designer. But this has some, it's in perfect condition. I can't find anything wrong with it at all. She got these square buttons on the long sleeve, big wide cuff, excuse me, big pointy collars. This pattern is outrageous. It's kind of cool. It's at thelostpaniolo.com. I keep saying the last Paniolo on a lot of my videos because I'm going too fast. Too much caffeine, I don't know. But it's thelostpaniolo.com. So that's your first share item to share for the day. Second, H-Bar-C Ranchware of California. This is a little bit later one, so this is more from the 70s. I love the gingham or palaka. That's the Hawaiian version of checkered type of cloth. It's a pearl snap. There's H-Bar-C of California Ranchware, made in USA. I think this is a medium. Perfect condition. It's got the pearl snaps on the sleeves, up and down, the chevron pockets, the yoke, what we call the yoke on the back and shoulders. Just a very, very cool piece. And I tell you, vintage ranchwear is hot right now. So Levis, H-Bar-C, there's a few other brands out there. Of course, the older Wranglers, and there's just a bunch of different designs, different manufacturers, and I have quite a few in my inventory. But H-Bar-C, there you go. That's your second one. And third one up, a Levi's. This is a Levi's. Of course, it's vintage Levi's. See the big E on the tag, so it's a white tag with the big E. This is really right at the transition when they were going from the big E to the lower script. You could see, let me see if I could undo this top button here. On this tag here, they have the lower script. So they have the little E. But on the tab, the Levi's tab on the pocket, they have it as the big E. So this, I guess this was right at that transition point, but it's pretty cool. You could call it a Big E Levi shirt, or Big E, a Levi shirt, ranch wear, Western wear, what have you. It's not a pearl snap. It's the normal button front, but it's got these cool pockets, and it is in perfect condition, and it's available at, like I said before, lostpaniolo.com. Lost, not last, but lost. Next up, vintage Hang 10. You know, Hang 10 is still producing stuff nowadays, and I don't know if it's produced overseas or they're still doing it in the US, but this is a vintage one. Check out the tag. There's the Hang 10 tag with the cool little feet right there on the pocket. Now, most people know Hang 10 for making kind of the striped shirts without collars from the 60s and the 70s. I wore them when I was coming up. I wore them in high school. Hang 10 was really cool. This is a Hang 10 Hawaiian type shirt with that inside out print. It's a heavy kind of a cotton and kind of a cotton weave, almost like I guess a burlap sack kind of, except not all itchy. But it has cool coconut buttons. Just a very cool shirt. And I think this is an extra large. And it is, look at the big old 70s collars, man. And it is available at thelostpaniolo.com. Number 5. Here's another Aloha shirt. This is the inside out or faded print. This is the pullover type. And this is your rim spooner. And this is a vintage rim spooner, and you could tell by the tag. This is what we call the nudie girl tag, where a little Aloha girl, she has no top on. So later they put a top on her, and then they change the tag altogether. But if you really know that they're vintage from the early 80s, late 70s, when you get what we call in the business is the nudie girl tag. So Ren Spooner, a great brand, highly sought after brand. They still make shirts today. Ren Spooners go for pretty good money online, even the brand new ones. So for you out there, you find them in the wild in a thrift store or flea market or wherever, state sale, snatch up the Ren Spooners. They go for really, really good money. And if you could get the nudie girl tag, that helps you date it to late 70s, early 80s, around in there, and they'll just be worth more. They're usually pullover as opposed to completely button front. And most Ren Spooners, like 99% of them, are the faded inside out print. In fact, they're probably the company that championed that type of print, where it's inside out and that more muted faded look. What happened is in the 60s and 70s, a lot of the surfers, they didn't really like the real garish or bright colored Aloha shirts, even though they're still very cool. But they liked the more muted, faded look. So they got with a couple of Aloha shirt companies or businesses in Hawaii and pushed them to make that inside-out reverse print. And Ren Spooners was one of the biggest ones to do it. I think they were probably the first company to do it. I might be wrong on that, but I'm about 90% positive on that. And it's become really popular to get that more muted, like I said, faded look, like it's been in the sun, instead of the typical real bright, crazy colors that you see on vintage Aloha shirts. This is an extra large, or maybe a medium. I don't know, I don't remember. It looks like an extra large, but a pretty cool piece. Last but not least, number 6 for today, a vintage Letterman sweater. This is a cool piece. This is probably a size, well, according to the tag, it's a size 36, which would put it at probably like a small to medium. Long sleeve. It's in pretty good condition. It's not that real thick wool you see on a lot of the Letterman sweaters. This is more of a thinner, you could see the weave on there, kind of a thinner, not nylon, I don't know what you would call it. I don't see a tag on there that will show the type of material, but it's different. It's not, I don't think it's wool. I think it's kind of a different type of a weave, but very, very cool looking. Early, I'd put it to about mid 50s. I'm not sure what the G represents, maybe the school name or what this person lettered in, but the tag is Red Fox Athletic Wear. Take a look at it. Very cool. I really dig the orange and the black, the stripes, and these fat buttons. And of course, the horizontal buttonholes. You know, the one way to tell on a lot of vintage pieces is the buttonholes are horizontal as opposed to vertical. So if you get a piece and it has horizontal buttonholes, any type of a shirt, not just the sweaters, and a lot of times on the collared shirts, if they have that little collar loop for that last little button at the top. So that's one way, or a couple different ways to tell good vintage pieces is the collar loop and the horizontal buttonholes as opposed to the vertical. Well, that's it, my friends. That's your 6 cool vintage items, all available. Part of my inventory. Like I said before in my other videos, I probably have, I don't know, somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 items listed on various sites. But it's all together on our Shopify platform, which is the lostpaniolo.com. So go check it out. You can also find us on Etsy. You could find us on Depop. You could find some items on Mercari. And we're probably going to jump back on eBay. I've had a couple of eBay stores before. I stopped doing eBay for a while because I was actually helping other businesses with their eBay stores, doing the listing and the promotion work. So I stopped doing my own eBay because I was so busy with helping out other companies or other businesses. So I stopped. I buy a lot off of eBay. So it's a good place to source, that's for sure. But I think we'll probably put or activate the eBay store again here shortly to sell. It's the largest platform for buying and selling and auction anyway, so there's no reason not to. Cross-post and list as much as you can. And there's a couple of good programs out there to buy, apps, programs, what have you, that will do it automatically for you, where it'll cross-post it on every different platform that's out there to sell from. The more you do, the better it is, the better coverage you have. And of course, you can buy all my items right on Instagram, and you could buy them on Facebook. And we're actually going to be, and I'm using the word actually way too much, but we're going to be in an antique mall. So if you're in the North Texas, just north of Dallas and Fort Worth, actually about 30, there's the actually again, about 30 miles or so north of Fort Worth is the town of Denton, or the city of Denton. And in Denton, there is the Denton, or the Antique Gallery of Denton, or Denton Antique Gallery. I think they both work right off the freeway, the 35. But I will be in there. I'll have a large space. It'll be all vintage clothing and a bunch of other related items, gas and oil, a couple of old vintage bicycles and different things like that. But come check it out if you're in the area. And I'll be in there from October 1st. So October, November, December, January, February, at least the 6 months. 3 months prior to the holiday season and 3 months after. And we may stay in there longer than that. But right now, the plan is just to do that 6 months. And then after that, to do some pop-ups here and there in some of the local areas. And maybe even get our own brick and mortar. I've had one before outside of Houston. It was called Atomic Cowboys. And of course, I move around all the time. Moved to California, moved back out here to Texas. I'm glad to be back out here in Texas, let me tell you. But anyway, come check us out if you get a chance. And we'll see you on the next episode of Flippin' Vintage.